She stumbled through heaven's golden gate, with eyes too dim and heart too late. Angels paused, their harps went still. A soul arrived not by God's will. The scrolls were checked, the trumpet hushed. Her name too early, her breath still rushed. And then a voice, both firm and kind, spoke from eternity's centerline.
Daughter, why are you here so soon? The stars had more songs to sing with your tune. Your time was written past your grey, yet here you stand on Judgment Day.
She bent her head, her voice unsure.
My heart, it cracked. I found no cure. He loved me, left me, then loved another. I died from the ache of not being his lover.
You died from heartbreak, not cancer, nor war, nor final blow.
No, Lord, it was just men, and the way they sin. I packed up my hope when he packed his bags, wore shame like makeup, red flags and rags. I begged him to stay, like he was a god. I guess loving too hard can leave you flawed.
God sat silent. Thunder held its breath as he stared into the soul that chose this death.
Did you forget the breath I gave, the strength I built in the bones I made?
She fiddled with her robe of shame, still clinging to a phantom name.
He called me beautiful, then called me crazy. I kept the pieces. He left me Daisy.
Daisy?
Yes, picked and used. He picked me first and dropped me fast. Now I'm just petals from a broken past.
The angels wept at her reply. Some covered their wings, some asked why. So she lifted her voice with trembling hands, quoting the scripture she thought might help them understand.
The heart knoweth its own bitterness, and a stranger does not share its joy. So don't ask me to explain this mess. You weren't there when love became a ploy.
She said it like a sword of sorrow, justifying pain with holy prose. But God, whose voice can still tomorrow, responded with truth that swiftly rose.
My child, I wrote those words, it's true. But did you forget Isaiah too?
Then thunder cracked as his tone turned firm.
To give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Did you wear what I gave, or just dressed in your warning?
She stood still, robe of shame now trembling, tears of pride turned into mourning.
I tried,
she said, but not convinced. Her wounds still speaking louder since. God stepped down from his throne of flame, but his eyes were not fire. They were mercy and name. He called her not by wound or role or shame, but the name he gave her before pain ever came.
Daughter of strength, pillar of grace, do you know who you are in this place? You came here bruised by a human touch, but not once did I stop loving you that much.
She looked away, pain etched in skin, ashamed of the wars she let happen within.
I wanted him to see me, to hold me right. Instead, he made me question my light.
But why, my daughter, did you trade your purpose for a man's pride? He failed you, yes, but that was not your end. You weren't made to break, but to bend.
The clouds hushed, and angels leaned near, as if they too were stunned by what they'd hear. God's voice softened to a whisper of rain.
You were supposed to write books from this pain.
She gasped, eyes wide, heart torn in two. Books? She echoed, like it couldn't be true.
Yes, books to wake the sleeping, words to stop other women from weeping.
Then he showed her scenes of what could have been. Women healed, families mended, children freed from sin. 1,000 lives linked to her once broken pen. 1,000 stories, if she'd only held on to them.
I thought love was the end of my road.
He lifted her chin.
Love was just the vehicle. Your calling was the load.
The throne room dimmed with sacred pause, as silence bowed before heaven's cause. She stood like a shadow between two worlds, the dead in her hopes, the living in curls. God raised his hand not in wrath, but in light, and spoke a truth that shattered night.
You were never dead, not in body or bone. You walked among them, just hollow, alone. You came close, daughter, so close to the grave, not by dagger or rope, but the love you gave. Your spirit broke where words had lied. Your dreams collapsed when he never tried.
The woman trembled, her knees gave way, but God caught her soul before it could sway.
You weren't buried in dirt, but in silence, shame, and the tears you shed.
And the angels asked, why was she allowed this near? Shouldn't heartbreak be a lighter fear?
Because heartbreak doesn't just crack the chest, it buries the woman who gave her best.